But in celebration of the moment, I'd sing you a little ditty. Hi, I would never ever subject you to my singing. That would be a terrible thing for me to do. This is the review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 9, Subspace Symphony. And I have some thoughts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I want to know what you thought of this episode, and let's get into it. So, I'm going to go song by song of what I like, and then we'll talk about the story. So all of the songs in this episode, we had Why Are We Singing, Connect to Your Truth. I just came up with the song titles. Private Conversation, Secrets You Keep. We're all sort of average, if not below average. I'm Ready was a bit of a banger. Jess Bush did really, really good. I think it was unexpected, but I was like, oh no, this is good. We had I'm the Ex, which was horrible. Solo Connected, hands down, was the best song. Best song in the entire thing. Celia Gooding does great. Her voice is amazing. The song is catchy. If you released it as a pop song, it'd probably do quite well. And then we have the final song, which is perhaps the worst song I've heard in a musical. It made me uncomfortable. That is how bad that was. We did have an interesting thing. They basically... So, there is an anomaly. It is a subspace rift of some kind. They want to use it to communicate with the Federation in real time. They send a song to it to try and penetrate it to see if it reaches the other people. It causes it to create, link them to an alternate dimension or universe where everything is singing, which is fine. I knew there was going to be some weird science gobbledygook. That doesn't bother me. I went into this episode being open-minded. Star Trek's never done it before. There was a joke about it many years ago when Buffy one came out. And it was an interesting sort of quick setup. Then we have, obviously, La'an. They all start realizing they can sing. The first song's a bit of bop. I like La'an throughout this episode realizes that them expressing their emotions so raw and brutally means that it is going to be just very, very uncomfortable and a security concern. In terms of her, Kirk's coming on board. I think he's shadowing Una because he's going to be number one soon. She has uncomfortable feelings about him and she doesn't want to express them, so she's sort of hiding from it. She sings her songs, which makes sense. It's all about heightened emotion, musical rules. I don't even know. It's just an odd episode. I think they all had really great voices. I think maybe Babs doesn't because he's in the least amount of songs, or maybe he just wasn't comfortable with it. I think hands down Celia Gooding's voice is the best. Christina Chong's is okay. Jess Bush's is okay. The episode basically just runs through ways they can solve this problem. They have the Klingons coming, and the Klingons are coming, and they've got to solve this problem before they get there because the Klingons are going to do Plan B, which would have blown everyone up. This is the one reason I don't like the last song. The Klingons like bad rapping and dancing. I've never seen an enemy in Star Trek de-teethed or just castrated like the Klingons were in that moment. I don't know why they didn't go for the Klingon opera route. That would have been great. Or the heavy metal, I would have understood that. They went for like cheesy rap. And honestly, that made me sort of settle on, I'm not a big fan of this. I wanted to be. I'd seen the Buffy musical episode, and I was watching this, and I couldn't help but compare them. And the difference being is Buffy had built up a lot of tension between its characters, and most of the songs were geared around these character plots. And it was, they tried to do that here, but there was nothing that really exploded. There was nothing like, there's songs in the Buffy musical that I still listen to now. I think that's fantastic. When Buffy is talking about how she doesn't feel things right anymore, and then at the end she admits that she was in heaven and her friends pulled her out of there. There's a big revelation at the end.
I live in hell 'cause I've been expelled from heaven. I think I was in heaven.
And what this whole episode missed was gravitas. There was no gravitas to this. Even in musicals, there's generally a crescendo in the story which spurs the musical on, and this didn't do that. This was, we need a big musical number at the end. And I was just a bit like, oh, that's easy. Like, ultimately, like, you could have had Spock and Chapel having a huge duet. You could have had any other person's emotional things. Like, even Kirk and La'an, I would have sort of understood. It's like that it had no point. There's no point to the music episode. No one learnt anything new. No one grew in anything. Like, I think the most we got was Pike and his girlfriend learned that they should be truthful with one another. That is pretty much the only thing I could stem from it. And I know I'll bring Buffy up a couple of times in this. It's the only thing I really got to compare in terms of TV musicals. And it just seemed forced. Like someone came up with an idea and just said, oh, this will be fun, without thinking it through. And there was something about this episode that really took away from Star Trek. I cannot possibly understand. Like, my brain is literally going, is this the worst episode of Star Trek I've ever seen? And I don't want to say it is, but it feels like it is. And it's a shame, because Strange New Worlds has been really consistent from this point on, from previous points. Like, it's been good most episodes, or if not very good. And I just feel like this was, I want to say, a wasted opportunity, but I didn't even know it was an opportunity. I spent all week, and I was actually nervous today coming and seeing this episode. Like, I was at the end of work and going, my God, I don't know if I'm going to like this. Will I like this? Like, I like musicals. I like Star Trek. Put them together. But it was just, I want to say terrible. I don't know if you felt this. I don't know how you feel. I'm sure there's people who will love it. I'm sure that Celia Rose Gooding song was a banger. But my God, I have never seen a show crash. Like, I feel like those negative YouTubers who talk about Discovery and talk about how shit everything is. And I don't think Discovery has ever done anything as heinous as this episode. This is my first negative review of the season. I've enjoyed most episodes. I don't know. Anson Mount, like, the story wasn't, there was no story other than, like, just posh to make music, to make the music happen. There was no story, there was no emotional surprise, there was no emotional depth. They should have really saved it. Like, even at the end, say Jess Bush got this fellowship and she had to leave. Make the end of the episode her leaving with a song with Spock. And he confesses his emotions. Make him not sing the whole episode until she's about to leave, or until she tells him that she's about to leave. Like, there was no emotional impact. And I feel like I'm going in circles, but I just can't understand what possessed them to do this. Like, I want to say, what do I like? That one song by Celia Rose Gooding. That was a good song. That is it. Even the theme song had like an a cappella group behind it. I was like, okay. The mention of Carol Marcus, really enjoyed that. That is it. I really, really want to say things. I just don't know. I really want to know what other people's thoughts are. I haven't actually gone on TikTok. I'm filming this right away after watching it. I feel, and I'm going to use this term, clusterfuck. It's like this was an episode they couldn't really fill and they didn't put the effort in. And I'm sure that this episode actually had a ton of effort. But who sat there after they edited this all together and went, this is a good episode of Star Trek? It wasn't. It was in no way a good episode of Star Trek. That has been my review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Series 2, Episode 9, Subspace Rhapsody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I swear to you, I've enjoyed the whole series other than this. This is just, I don't even know. Maybe I'll like it if I watch it again, but I don't want to. Have a great night. I've been Trek Trav.